Hi everyone, I'm Michelle. I think that you probably know me from visiting my blog if you found your way to my YouTube channel. So today I am taking some time to show you how to create backgrounds with PanPastels. I recently got turned on to PanPastels a few months ago, and now I'm just really enjoying them, and they create such easy, wonderful backgrounds, and you can also color images with them. But I wanted to show you today some quick, easy backgrounds because beginning on the 24th of this month through the 31st, my blog will be dedicated to one full week of Blue Night Rubber Stamp's new release. And there are a few cards that I created for that week that have PanPastel colored backgrounds. So I'm going to flip the camera down. I'll first show you the materials, and then I'm going to try to not make such a long video because I really want you to see how easy and quick it is to create the backgrounds. If I take an hour to show you things, you're going to say, what is she talking about? This is not so quick. So you're going to be amazed. For me, I'm a watercolorist. I love watercoloring. I love watercolor backgrounds, and I don't mind waiting for the drying time, but the PanPastels can give you very similar looks as well as many other various looks, and there is no drying time. They're also a little bit magical because you can erase, you can color on top of them, you can stamp on top of them. There's just so many great things. So I'm going to get started because I've given myself 15 minutes for this video, and I really want to dedicate it to showing you the products. So I'm going to flip the camera down. I'll show you the PanPastels, a few of the tools, and then I'm going to and a few of the samples, and then I'll get started. Okay, guys. Okay, let me just get the camera. I think this is a good position. I think you'll be able to see everything. So, Blue Night Rubber Stamps has a few of their own custom PanPastel palettes. And this is the Sunrise and Sunset palette. That's this one. It comes with 7 colors, 2, 4, 6, and this white. So you can blend and create so many colors, and they're very user-friendly for creating sunsetty, orange, very warm colored backgrounds, or coloring just in general. You get the 7 colors, but really your palette is much, much bigger because these colors can be mixed off on a scrap piece of paper. You can put the orange and yellow together and get a beautiful red. You can mix and match things. So there's so many possibilities. So even though it's a palette of 7 colors, you really have many more blending possibilities. So that's the Sunrise and Sunset palette. They also have their own custom day and night palette. It came with 7 colors. These are 2 that I added in. So again, you can create many more colors with these. The colors are wonderful. They come in this little snap tray. It keeps them in order. It keeps them nice and neat. And then when you're ready to use them, you just take the lid off and set it aside. So I'm going to open mine up so that they're ready to go for all the little projects I want to show you today. Also, you can take them, these pop out of here, so you can change the colors that you want to put in. They also have larger palettes, but for me, for now, these are great colors. I'm going to set them aside so that I can show you some other things, but they're going to be right here because I'm going to be working with them throughout this video. I also wanted to show you that the palettes come with a set of starter blending tools, which is really nice. You'll get different sponges and a little palette knife with a cover. I love their tools. They're called soft sponges. They're from the PanPastel company, and they're really amazing, and they're awesome for putting and applying color. However, I did discover, just because I wanted to try it, I was in my dollar store recently, and they had these little sponges, and I was like, they feel exactly like the other sponges. So I said, for $1.50, I'm going to try them. And guess what, guys? I love them. They're here. I use them, I wash them, they are used to death. You could see they're already been used up like crazy. Next time in my dollar store, I'm picking up some more of these. I also love the PanPastel sponges, and they have different shapes, different edges. This you could draw a line with. These go on more like a finger, and this is their sponge, which is very much like the makeup sponges that I just showed you. So I'm going to set my tools aside. Also, when I also have these. They're like they're by PanPastel, but they're like little makeup sponges. They are just fantastic for getting into small areas, like when I'm PanPastel coloring flowers and leaves and other little areas. or I'm getting up against a line that I don't want to bleed the color in, I use these and they do a great job. They're also washable and they last a very long time. I also keep a paper towel handy because there's a lot of blotting off and dabbing, so I have that. I also pre-cut my cardstock. This is Spectrum Noir Ultra Smooth cardstock. I like it the best for using PanPastels, but if you give them a try, you try a smooth cardstock that you like. So I pre-cut a bunch of quarter sheets. I have them set aside and they're ready to go. So before I did the video, I wanted to create a few backgrounds so that you can see the different looks of PanPastels and some of the things you can do. This one was I just wanted to create something that would resemble like a sunny sky, a sunset sky, and some water. Here I was experimenting with creating my own plaid background. So this was fun to do. I just used the sponges, and some of the sponges I used on the edge to create lines. Others I did more of a smudging look, and that's what I got. This one I just wanted to create a background that I could stamp on. Or maybe I want to use a stamped image die cut and use this as the background. But you can see all the beautiful blending. This was done with orange, yellow, magenta. It's just amazing. I also, a lot of times when I do flower and floral images, I like a parchment look background. And I've been practicing lately using the different colors to create a parchment. So this was just, most of the colors were from the Sunset palette, and a tint that I also purchased separately, and this is the look that I got. I added a little brown, and I don't know if you could see, but there's a little shimmer on this because there is a shimmery white, and I went over it with that. This, I was thinking ahead to fall, a fall background, some fall colors. So I used some black, some of the brown tones, some orange, some yellow. I even added a little bit of green, and this is the background I got for that. This, again, I just was experimenting with color. I wanted something bright and fun and that would look good if I did something like a floral image, or if I wanted to use this as a background. This, I thought, I never really do masculine things. What can I do if I had a card for men, like something a little bit on the masculine side? So I just put some colors together that were a little deeper and richer, brown, black, beige. I blended them with white, and this is what I wound up with. These all take like a minute to make. You'll be amazed. Here I was just experimenting with another plaid. I said, let me see what I could do. This was reds and greens. I would have liked the green a little darker, so in the interest of time, I didn't go back, but I probably would add a little more green to this. And then this one, I just took a Post-it and I attached it to the center, and I blended my color all around. Now, I don't know if you can see this. Where are you? Here. You see this little smudge? PanPastels are totally erasable. So you can take an eraser and go in. This is a red eraser, which I ordinarily wouldn't use. I usually use white art erasers. But you can go right into the white wherever you smudge something. And PanPastels are totally erasable. The smudge is gone. So I'm going to show you something else with the eraser as I'm making things. But for now, I think I just want to show you a basic sunset blending. So there's no preparation of your paper. This is like dry. This is paint, but it's dry. So you can blend like you would with a liquid paint. You apply it with the sponge, and there's no drying time. So what I do is I try to keep my sponges for different color families, although when I'm working I forget myself and I kind of mix and match. But I'm going to start out, I'm going to work backwards upside down, so bear with me. What you do is you don't scrape, you kind of just wipe it gently. So when you're taking the color, you won't see it because it's going to be off screen, but whenever I'm picking up color, you'll see my hands go to the side. I'm doing this, and then I'm just blotting it to get off the extra dust. Okay, so now I'm going to start applying the color. And what I'm going to do is, sometimes I wipe it in one stroke, but sometimes I like to dab it because I'm able to blend a little more. Then I'm going to take some of the orange. Again, I just wiped and dabbed, and now I'm bringing in the orange. Okay, so here comes my orange. And you see how easily these go down. They're almost like, they're not a chalk, but that's how I'll describe it to you. It's like a very smooth, rich chalk. Okay, I'm getting my colors together now for a sunny sky. I'm going to add a little bit, not a lot, and I'm gently dabbing. But mostly I want to keep it in the oranges. So I'm just going to go back over this, and then I'm going to add a little more yellow. You see how I'm mixing and blending the colors? And don't worry if you have some white, because in the sky there is white showing through. It's not opaque. So sometimes I deliberately try to leave a little white. I have to remind myself because I forget. Okay, so the colors are down. Now if I wanted to brighten certain areas, I can just take my sponge, pick up a little bit of the white, and just bring it into some areas that I want to brighten a little. You could see this is brightening already. Just here and here, and I'll do it again in this area. So I'm just brightening that up a little. Now it's time to take, I didn't show you, the colorless blender. This has no color. I'm going to take a clean sponge because my other sponges are kind of really dirty and used. You just take the colorless blender the same way you do the other one, and now you just kind of blend the colors together. And this is where everything comes together that you've laid down on the paper, and literally in a minute you have a beautiful sunset sky. So let's take it a step further. I'll give you a little sample of what it's like to create so if this is the sky, now we'll do like the water. We're doing like an ocean scene. I'm just adding some of this bright turquoise blue, and now I'm going to go with a darker blue, bring that up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sponge. Well, no, you know what? Let me take this sponge. This sponge has more of a straight edge. I'm going to put it into the blue, and I'm going to give myself like a horizon line a little bit where the water and the sky meet. That'll get blended out later, but it's just giving me the line now so I know where I'm working. Okay, so I'm going to add a little more of the turquoise. Here we go. And I'm going to go in with the dark blue again. And then there's black on here, and I use it very lightly, but that's going to give some deep ocean tones to the water. Once it's blended, you'll see about how the black is very helpful for bringing tones to a darker level. Okay, now that was a little much there, so I'm going to do that. And I'm going to still add a little more blue. Okay. All right, so there's my ocean. Now, once again, I'm going to take my colorless blender. You don't really get a lot of dust with this if you're using it the right way. If you load up the sponge and go right to the paper, you always have to dab it off a little. And there's no need to put tons of color. Okay, so now I'm just blending this together. And I already have my sky and my water. And if I want to make this darker, I could build on that color. Now, I want to tell you, with PanPastels, if I went over this with a white, I do. If I go over this now, you will find there's some dust on here. However, that's not a problem. They sell sealants, but they're chemical in base and a lot of chemicals. You have to use them in a ventilated area. I prefer not to do that. So I found that if I use the art store, Blick Art, I spoke with somebody and she gave me some examples, and she said you can use hairspray. So this is my personal hairspray. It's Nexus. I love it. It's a good quality hairspray. What I love about it, it has a great atomizer sprayer on it. So I'm going to go off camera, but what I'll do is you'll hear me lightly spraying this. And that's it. That's going to be dry in about 10 seconds. Now, if you ran a napkin over this, a tissue, a paper towel, there's going to be nothing left that's going to come off of this. That's sealed. So now you've seen how quick and easy it is. So imagine a stamped image of a lighthouse, and then you add the water and the sky. It's just a pleasure to work with these. They're quick and easy. Okay, so now how about we just do a background where we're just blending. We just want to create, let's do blues again. I mean, blues are nice to work with. So let's start with the turquoise. Remember, I'm using the palettes from Blue Night. So here we are. I'm just putting down some blue. And I think I want to bring in a darker blue again. Just over here and over here. And I'll bring this in and I'll go in the corner a little bit with some of the blue. And again, up in this corner, these two corners. Now I think I'm going to bring in some of this. There's a purple tone here. Okay, so I'm going to just bring that into this here. You see how quickly I'm just blending. I mean, if you ink, you already know this technique. You know that when we do this with our ink pads, our distress inks, we're getting this nice blended look. These are not water reactive though, so they're not going to do what a distress ink does. Okay, I'm going to take my white now, and I'm just going to go in to brighten this a little. But I also want to bring in a little bit of yellow, not a lot. Just here and there, a little bit of yellow, because over these colors, I don't want to muddy it up. But I do want to bring in some of that color. Okay, now I'm going to take my turquoise again and just give it one more little coating of the turquoise. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my colorless blender. You see I have all my colors down. I'm going to go back to the colorless blender, pick up a little, and I'm just going to start to blend these colors. Again, I'll pick up the blender, go over the colors, and you could see they're all starting to come together. I mean, if I was doing something floral, I would love a background like this behind my image. Now, you also can stamp first and add the PanPastels behind it. Okay, you also can, well, let me show you something. Let's say there was a flower here. Let me see if I can do that for you. This is going to be very, okay, we have a floral image here. Okay, now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how PanPastels erase. So if you are working with PanPastels, you've stamped your image, and as you're creating your background, it blurs onto your floral image, you can clean it up very easily. You can use the white pencil toppers like children use in school. They're very good. Or you can buy an automatic eraser. You can use an art eraser, but I recommend a white eraser. So you see the PanPastels, you do this before you seal it with the hairspray or the sealant. So you see it's completely erasable. You can take that off and clean that up. If you had a smaller eraser, you could get even closer into this image. So that's a great thing to know, because if you're working with PanPastels, it is easy sometimes to have it bleed onto your image with the sponges. But here you go. So completely erasable. I think that's totally magical. So that's another background that I've done. How about I'll show you how I did the plaid, because that's easy, but I'll just show you an example anyway. Let's do a blue and green plaid. Okay, so I'll start out with my turquoise. Okay, it's just very easy. I just put a lines of color. Okay, so I'm just laying this color down. So now you see how quickly this is. I mean, I've done 3 backgrounds. I'm really not rushing, plus I'm talking, and it's just really easy to do. Okay, so I laid this down. I want to go back the other way though to darken up the other end of these lines. So here we go. Okay, now I'm going to take and I'm going to go into the darker blue, and I'm actually going to use this sponge so that I can create a line. Okay, I'm just going to run my line alongside of this, and I'm just dabbing this sponge onto the blue little palette. Okay, and now maybe let's bring in, I don't know, we'll give it a try. I'll bring in a yellow. We'll have fun with the colors. If I don't like it, I view it as it was an experiment. Plus, who better to experiment with all of you so that you can see my successes and my failures. Okay, so here we go. We're getting all the color down. Alrighty. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this very light tint, whoops, in between, just to give it some color. Okay, you notice I'm not being particular, like so fussy. I'm not being sloppy with my work, but there's a lot of room to play because remember, this is all about blending. This is not about precise drawing, what I'm showing you today. I also want to tell you, I'm not an artist. I have no artistic training. Just a card maker like all of you, and I love to experiment with color and different products, and if I find something that works, I'm happy to share it. But I'm by no means trained in art, so those of you who are, please don't pass judgment. I'm just having fun. Okay, let's go back and put another line. Let's just see how we could do with this. Okay, I'm just drawing lines, dipping into the palette, and I'm using the straight edge. This sponge has a straight edge on it. So there we go. I think I'll put green because we're kind of going in that way. Here we go. Here we go. I should tell you guys, I'm in my studio today. I've got the air conditioner turned so low that on a normal day you'd have icicles hanging from your nose, but today it's 101 degrees out here with no breeze, and I am happy to be in the studio staying nice and cool. I go back into the house, and the house thermostat is also set at a really cold temperature. Okay, so I'm liking these colors, but let's see now. I'm going to blend them. So I need my sponge with the blender, and this is going to kind of make them nice and muted and blend them together. So here we go. I mean, guys, what's not to love about something that's fun, gives you just endless possibilities for creativity, and is literally like a quickie job. So look at this. Here's my plaid. I love it. I love the colors. I'm happy with it. I'm going to take it off to the side, give it a quick spray, and set it down to dry. Okay, so how about, let's do one more. Let's do, like, I did the sunny sky, I did the water. Let's do a night sky. So let's pretend, I'll do half the card as if we're creating a night sky. So we're gonna go with some darker colors here. So I'm gonna start out with the darkest blue that I have, and that's in the palettes from Blue Night. Now, if you notice how I'm putting this on, I am not going in a straight line. I'm kind of going up and down, very jerky movements of my hands. There's no rhyme or reason. Some areas are darker, some are lighter. Okay, now I'm going to pick up the other color, which is a little darker and has a purple undertone to it. Okay, I'm adding this now. Now you could see already it's more like a night sky because all those beautiful colors that are in a night sky. Okay, remember now the black brings us down a tone, but I don't want to have it heavy. So I'm just going to add a little black here and there. That's going to make my sky a little bit darker. Here it was a little too much, but remember I can erase. So I'm going to erase that. I'm not happy with it. The black went on too heavy. I'm just going to give myself some of the blue area. And then I can go back and I can add the blue again. It's as easy as that. I mean, I took away what I didn't like and I built it up again with what I did like. Okay, I do want to add some black though because it is necessary. It gives the contours of the sky. I need more practice with the black. Sometimes I find when I use the black, it's a little bit much for me. Oh, it must be this spot because here I put too much black again. Okay. I think I want to add a little more of the lightest blue, the turquoise kind of blue. And now I'm going to take my blender, the colorless blender. It's just like with Copics. We have a colorless blender, and I'm doing the same thing here. Okay, now, if you wanted a darker sky, because this is not very night sky, it's more like a stormy sky, and I love that. I also wanted to show you, if you take white and add that. It will brighten certain spots. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm going to add the white to brighten up certain spots. Okay, I feel like I still want some more blue here, so I am going to add more blue. I'm going to bring this around like this and like this. And I'm going to go back in with my colorless blender again and blend it all together. Okay, you can make this as dark a light as you want. Now, if you wanted to create a darker line up at the top, you can do that by just going around like this and blending it down into the other colors. There's so many options for blending with this, so don't be afraid to just pick up your tools and try. Okay, so there you go. You could see I kind of darkened up the top. I like that. It looks like a stormy sky. I have to get better with the black, but I think to train myself to get better with the black, I'm going to use gray next time. I do have many other colors from PanPastels that I picked up individually, so I think I'm going to try gray because I think that might give me the look that I want. But I love that there's lots of color here, and it's not just a solid opaque color. You could see it here also on this guy. So I have to tell you guys, there's so many things that you can do with PanPastels. The last thing I want to show you is what I did. You can do this with a circle, you could do it with a star, you could do it with really any shape you want. Cut out a die cut shape that you like, that you think you want to stamp on. So here you go. I have this. I did it before in the pinks and the magentas, so I think I'll do that again because they're just nice bright colors, and we just finished working with the blue. Okay, so I'm going to start out with a nice dark color. Let's hold it this way. We'll blend it this way. This is the color I'm using at the top. Okay, this is one of the PanPastel colors that come in the Blue Night palettes. You can find these palettes at the Blue Night Rubber Stamps website. They're sold individually, and also Blue Night has a few of their custom, not custom, but a few additional separate colors. So you can shop around on there, and you'll see there's projects that I'll be creating during this week when I do my new release projects that will show you some projects that I do with PanPastels, and they're just lovely to work with. Okay, so that's my first color. Next, I think I'm going to lay down the orange, and then I'm going to blend that. Okay, so you can see it's blending together over here already. Okay, orange. And for the bottommost color, I'm just wiping off my sponge. I am going to add bright yellow. If you notice, it's just a long stroke because I'm not really blending down here. I'm more or less applying the color. Okay, I'm going to go back in with the orange because I think I want a little more over here as well. And one more time, I'm going to hit it with the yellow right here. Okay, now I'm going to leave the paper on. I'm going to get my colorless blender. Over here, I'm just taking a little wipe of that, dabbing it off, and I'm going to blend while the Post-it is still in place. Okay. That's my cell phone ringing. Somebody's looking for me, but I'm with you guys, so I'm not going to pick it up. Okay, so here we go. Now, remember I told you, if you get color in an area you don't want it, you can erase. PanPastels are totally erasable. So I had a little bit of color, and I'm just cleaning it up a little. Okay, and then if you want to just not smudge and smear, just wipe away. And I could do more cleaning up, and how I would do it is I would take a piece of Post-it, I would create a new line for myself. That's my little trick. And then I would erase right on that line, and that would give me a nice clean line for wearing. Now you could stamp right here. Okay. I would spray this though to fix it because there is a lot of residue on it. So that's it, guys. I mean, I am so happy to show you all the things that you can do with PanPastels. I mean, I've just given you a few examples. There's so many different things you could do, so much blending you can do. I mean, it's just a great product. It's fun, it's easy to work with, and it's very forgiving on your hands even. You know, with paint, it's hard to clean your hands up. This is like baby wipe, I'm good to go. And I do clean my hands often in between pieces because I don't want to smudge the colors that I have onto the next piece I'm working with. So, Blue Night Rubber Stamps has the PanPastels. Take a look if you want to. If you're going to buy a chemical fixative, you can get it at any art store. Just tell them you're looking to fix PanPastels with a sealant. But truthfully, I would go with this. This is like between $9 and $12 in CVS or any cosmetic store, and it works just as great, and you're not having to go outside to spray it. I hope that you really enjoyed seeing the PanPastels in action. Please visit my blog, belissimicards.blogspot.com during the week because July 24th through the 31st, I will have a new release stamp featured every day at my blog with a few projects. And also, I will be having a giveaway. So if you want a chance to win one of the new release stamps, stop by. Okay, guys, thank you so much for stopping in. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the PanPastels in action. I hope that you could take a look at them on the website. They're really a fun product to work with. Have a great day.